The next person that's going to speak, I'll tell you, I've described this man in a lot of ways. But I think the best thing that I could say about my friend, Jim Lembke, is that he is my friend. And one of the reasons that he is my friend is because I respect him. And I respect him based on what I've seen from him and what I've experienced with him. And so next we're going to have my friend, Senator Jim Lembke.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate it. I'm really excited to see a full room here tonight. I mean, the idea that on a cold Tuesday evening that we've got patriots that are here that are concerned about their state and their nation and their liberty, means a lot. It means a lot to, us that have been in the trenches, for the last number of years. I want to mention another thing before I get onto the topic. Do we know how blessed we are that we have men like these two on the ballot, wanting to serve us in Washington, D.C. This guy I've known for a long time. This guy I haven't known that long, but every time it seems like I'm at an event with him, I have to speak after him, and that's not a good thing. It is amazing, the grasp that Bill has on these issues. I can't tell you. Now, I've been and I've served with a lot of politicians, in the last 10 years, And whether it be the guy that occupies the governor's mansion right now or any other candidates that I've seen for the office, none of them can hold a candle to this guy. Now, his problem is... You didn't know you had a problem, did you? His problem is that, in this business, your campaign has got to catch fire. It's got to catch fire because Bill is not going to have the ability to raise the kind of money that he needs to raise to get his name out and to really make this thing work, unless it catches fire. I mean, that can happen, But you all have to be a part of it. If you believe in Bill Randles, then you've got to get off your backside and come out on a Tuesday night to an event like this. But no, you really have to get cracking, because we need guys like Bill Randles in state government. So I appreciate him being here. I don't have anything positive to say about the guy at the end of the day. Oh, does it? Oh, criminy. Well, it's not going to take me very long because I usually do best, with question Q&A. I want you to consider two things as we consider this doctrine of nullification. I want you to consider how the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution cannot be separated. They cannot be separated. Our Declaration is about natural law and where our rights come from. All right, and it's also about self-government. All right, and then as that connects to our Constitution, it's about our representation. What their responsibility is on our behalf. Right, as Ed said, we delegate power. We don't delegate rights to these entities. This dual sovereignty, this compound republic. I want you to remember those terms, We, the people, delegate power to these entities to protect our rights, So we've got within both of those republics, those compound republics, the separation of powers, right? And that's all connected. And then we've got the concept of limited government, all right? This doctrine of nullification was so important at the beginning of our nation because this was not an easy process for our founders to work through. Remember, they fought the Declaration of Independence. They fought a war for independence, right? Then they came together under the Articles of Confederation, all right? And they didn't work. All right, we were governed under those for 9 years, and they didn't work. We were we were splintering, we were falling apart, okay? So they came back together, and the process of ratifying our Constitution was a very, very difficult process, and it almost didn't happen. All right? By God's good providence, it did happen. Okay? But early on, we had all kinds of founders that had real questions about the amount of power that we were giving to this central government through this Constitution. They were very worried about it. And just shortly after, maybe 10 years after the Constitution was ratified, the first time that the doctrine of nullification was exercised was after Congress passed the Alien and Sedition Act. All right? You know what the Alien and Sedition Act did? 10 years after the ratification of the Constitution, it said that an American couldn't speak out against its government. How is that possible, folks? And in hindsight, those founders that had a concern about what Congress might do, that was warranted, wasn't it? Amen. Because this Congress that we had delegated power to and were afraid of, and believe me, our founders were afraid of government. In a very short period of time, they forgot, right? Or maybe they purposefully did it. Because, once you get into these offices, you're awful jealous of them and you don't want to give them up. Am I getting close? Now,
5 minutes ago.
here's the deal. So Jefferson and Madison write the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions on behalf of their states, saying to the federal Congress, you can't do that. Now, what we're going to discuss here tonight is there is a lot of controversy over this doctrine of nullification. I mean, Madison, at a time in his political career, believed it was a power that the states had, and then other writings that you see from him, he says, well, maybe they didn't. Okay, but I want you to think, and this is the other thing I want you to consider tonight, how important post-17th Amendment, the 17th Amendment to our Constitution, which was ratified in 1913, how important this doctrine, this tool of nullification is now. Because our system is all built on checks and balances and separations of power. All right? And the biggest check that our founders built into the Constitution on behalf of state sovereignty and the sovereignty of the people was the idea that state legislatures put their U.S. senators in place. Not to represent you, the people, to represent the states. All right? And they were, and that was, the chain that the people had through the states on the federal government, and we gave that away in 1913. And from there on, the republic was in jeopardy. And we've been going downhill since then. All right? So those are the things we have to talk about. And in the light of post-17th Amendment, this doctrine of nullification is key for us, the states, to stand in the gap on behalf of you, the people.
Amen.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. It seems like government has an insatiable desire for more of our money and our liberty, and we're hearing a lot about that tonight. I was just reminded as Jim was speaking that when we had our filibuster, Jim and I participated in a filibuster together this last session, and there was actually 4 of us that were going to do it. And since I had been in the military, I actually made us a duty roster. And so that duty roster had each one of us holding the floor for 2 hours each. Well, the other 3 of us, by the time our 2 hours were over, we felt like we were exhausted. And when we went to get Jim at the end of his 2-hour shift, he said, no, I can go another 2 more. Don't worry about it. Give somebody else a break.